wisdom. And the fires of creation is that process of action turning knowledge into wisdom. We all know, but until we do, it's not the experience and the understanding of the experience that it takes to understand it. Experiential situation is really what it is.
It's not about what you do and all of the things you create or don't create. It is truly about lifetime to lifetime endurance and gaining joy and joy and happiness out of them. It's not about success. It is just about joy, happiness, and love.
Have you been finding yourself stuck in a rut, unable to launch your new projects, not getting the experiences you're looking out of your spiritual experiences? You're trying to start a business and running into troubles? I have special coaching sessions for you. Spiritual readings, Akashic records, healings, all those are available to you. I invite you to come and look at the different journeys that I've done in the live shows that I've done. I'm inviting you all to come on the journey, expand your life, expand your willpower, learn more about sovereignty. We also have the Living the Mystical Life monthly membership. It's a new relaunch of the system where you get all of our live webinars and get access to our Discord server for our live shows. Go to the website, andrewbartzis.com, for more information. Come and join our community, inviting you all to come on this journey as we expand to the universe of the Great Awakening. Welcome, everyone, to another adventure into reality. I'm your host, Andrew Bartzis, the one and only galactic historian. Today is a live call-in show for the first hour, and then we have our members area for the second hour. If you'd like to join our members area, you go to my website, andrewbartzis.com. If you'd like to become a channel supporter, on Rumble, you can go and sign up for the Rumble thing, or come and sign up for our monthly thing that we have. It greatly helps when you guys are able to support the channel. Also, if you could leave a like and a comment, it would help greatly, influencing the algorithm's reach that we have. And as advertised, I have another speech for you guys today. I've been connecting to you guys greatly for a while now, and I want to amplify this experience that we've had over the last few days. This next speech is titled Rebellion. A speech for the awakening, raising the digital pitchforks and torches. Friends, fellow seekers, awakeners, truth bearers, and quiet rebels scattered across this digital commons. We stand tonight not in physical square, but in the vast invisible agora of the modern age. Screens glow like campfires in the dark. Fingers hover over keyboards like archers drawing bows. Every post, every share, every comment is a potential spark. Tonight, I invite you to pick up two ancient tools, reborn for our time. The digital pitchfork, not to wound flesh, but to turn over the hardened soil of lies, to expose what has been buried beneath layers of approved narrative. The digital torch, not to burn cities, but to illuminate the shadows where truth has been exiled, to light a path for others still stumbling in the manufactured dark. These are the weapons of our nonviolent rebellion. We are here because we have felt the weight of a system that no longer serves the human spirit. A trifecta of indoctrination, academic, political, and media, woven so tightly that most never notice the threads binding their minds. In classroom, the children are taught what to think, not how to think. History is sanitized, science is gated, curiosity is channeled into approved corridors. Questions that threaten the narrative are met with lower grades, raised eyebrows, or outright silencing. In politics, loyalty to a party is mistaken for patriotism. Dissent is branded as extremism. Complex human problems are reduced into slogans, and those who refuse the slogan are cast as enemies of progress or decency. In media, a handful of voices, pundits, actors, influencers, anointed by the algorithms, still sit in gilded studios and tell us what reality is. They demean, they distort, they mock, they questioneer, while wrapping themselves in the cloak of expertise. They are the modern court eunuchs. Ha ha ha. Guarding the gates of permissible thought, punishing any who dare approach without bowing. These gatekeepers do not always know they serve the system. Many believe they are its benefactors. Have been rewarded with platforms, with followers, with the intoxicating drug of being right. And so they police the boundaries fiercely, quick to label, quick to cancel, quick to reduce a fellow human to a caricature. But tonight we say no more. We rebel, not with violence, never with violence. Violence is the language of the system itself, quick, crude, and ultimately self-justing. It gives the gatekeepers the excuse to crave to tighten the chains. We rebel with something far more powerful, refusal. Refusal to consent, refusal to comply with forced belief. Refusal to grant authority to those who have forfeited legitimacy. This is the essence of nonviolent rebellion, the quiet, unyielding no that topples empires. The greatest indoctrination machine. Let's us name the beast plainly. It begins early. A child asks an innocent, hold on one second. A child asks an innocent question about history, about power, and about why things are the way they are. The teacher, bound by curriculum in fear of controversy, redirects the questions with her. Over years, the child learns some questions are dangerous, better to memorize the approved answer. By university, the pattern is set. Departments are ideological monocultures, dissenting papers are rejected, speakers who challenge orthodoxy are disinvited, tenure is granted to those who conform, denied to those who probe too deeply. The academy, once sanctuary for free inquiry, becomes a factory producing credentialed conformists. Politics amplifies this distortion. Two scripted teams perform an endless theater of conflict, while the underlying power structure remains untouched. Vote for us, they say, or the other side will destroy everything you love. Nuance is treason. Independent thought is betrayal. The citizen becomes a partisan soldier, marching behind slogans instead of reasoning with truth. And the media, once the watchdogs, have become the lapdogs of narrative. Stories are selected not for importance, but for alignment. Facts that threaten the frame are omitted. Sources that challenge the consensus are smeared. The pundit class, comfortable and well-paid, recites talking points with theatrical outrage. They do not inform, they preform. They do not illuminate, they inflame. Together, these three pillars form a closed loop. Academia produces the experts, politicians elevates them, media amplifies them, dissent is marginalized as conspiracy, misinformation, or hate. The loop reinforces itself, growing ever more rigid, ever more brittle. But brittle things break, and we are the pressure building at that fracture point. Say no to the kings. History whispers to us across centuries. Every great liberation began with a refusal. Picture medieval English village. The king sits in distant London, surrounded by courtiers. His tax collectors ride in, his laws are proclaimed, his wars are fought in his name. The peasant bows outwardly, but inside a seed of resentment grows. Then comes the moment, a spark, a refusal to pay the latest levy, a whispered meeting in the tavern, a charter of rights demanded the barons Runnymede, the slow, inexorable shedding of absolute monarchy. Centuries later, across the Atlantic, colonists faced a similar king, George III, heir to the same lineage, that they had left the old world seeking breathing room, only to find the same chains following them. The taxes without representation, the quartering of troops, the dissolution of assemblies, the closing of ports, and then refusal. Not at first with arms, but with words, pamphlets, committees of correspondence, boycotts, a continental congress, a declaration that no man, no king, no parliament has the right to rule without consent. They shed the king like old skin, the snake of liberty molting, emerging brighter, longer, more dangerous to tyranny. The shedding was not clean, it was painful. Families divided, loyalties tested, blood eventually spilled. But the core act, that decisive act, was refusal to grant legitimacy to a power that had ceased to earn it. We stand in that same lineage. The modern kings wear no crowns. They wear suits. They sit on boards. They anchor news desks. They chair departments. They moderate platforms. They write the algorithms that decide what you see. But they rule by the simple principle, your consent. And tonight we withdraw that consent. We say, you do not speak for us. You do not define reality for us. You do not own truth. We refuse. History's greatest rebellions were not always the loudest or the bloodiest. They were the ones that exposed the moral bankruptcy of power through unflinching refusal. Mahatma Gandhi walked the sea and made salt, a simple act, defiance without violence. The British Empire, masters of oceans and armies, was left looking absurd, beating unarmed men for picking up salt crystals. Martin Luther King Jr. sat at a segregated lunch counters, marched on bridges, filled jails. He forced America to confront its own hypocrisy on national television. The images of the fire hoses and the dogs turned against peaceful citizens did more damage to segregation than any riot could have. Lech Walesa climbed a fence, and Gantz sparked solidarity. Václav Havel wrote essays from prisons and helped topple communism with Living in Truth. Each understood violence legitimizes the state monopoly on force. Nonviolence exposes as naked coercion. Our battlefield today is the mind. The weapon is truth. The tactic is exposure. When a pundit smears a truth teller, we do not smear back. We quote them verbatim. We archive their words. We let their own distortion hang in the light. When a platform censors, we do not rage impotently. We migrate. We build alternatives. We mirror the forbidden content across decentralized networks. When an academic gatekeeper blocks inquiry, we fund independent scholars. We create parallel institutions. We publish outside the walled gardens. We starve the beast of attention. We build our own tables. This is nonviolent rebellion in the digital age. Relentless, creative, joyful refusal. The torches of rebellion in the ages of the screens. The printing press was the pitchfork of the Reformation. Pamphlets circled Bibles in vernacular languages. Suddenly the gatekeepers of Latin scripture could not control interpretation. The radio was the torch of resistance movements. Clandestine broadcasts pierced the blackout of totalitarian regimes. Today, social media, flawed, manipulated, often tyrannical, is still the greatest leveling force humanity has ever known. A single post can reach millions before the censors wake up. A thread can dismantle a narrative built over years. A meme can expose hypocrisy faster than any editorial. This is our town square, our printing press, our Sazmdat. The digital pitchfork is the retweet, the quote tweet, the screenshot that preserves a lie before it's deleted. It is the thread that methodically lays out evidence the mainstream refuses to touch. It is the hashtag that coordinates millions without hierarchy. The digital torch is the video that captures reality unfiltered. The live stream that bypasses editors, the documentary self-published on alternative platforms, the podcast that interviews the silenced. Together, they turn over the soil and light the way. I've seen it happen. A citizen journalist films an event that networks ignore. The clips spread. Suddenly, a proved narrative cracks. Questions flood in. The gatekeepers scramble to contain, but the soil has already been turned. An independent researcher publishes data the journals reject. Peers review it openly online. Errors are found and corrected in public. Truth emerges stronger, unowned by any institution. A comedian tells a forbidden joke. The clip goes viral. Laughter spreads like fire. Suddenly, emperor's new clothes are visible to all. This is what modern rebellion looks like. Millions of small acts of courage, coordinated without central command, amplified by algorithms we do not control, but can still ride. It is messy, it is chaotic, and it is beautiful. To the gatekeepers, a final invitation. Some of you listening tonight are the very gatekeepers we challenge. You sit in studios, you moderate panels, you grade papers, you write the fact checks. You believe you are protecting society from dangerous ideas. But pause. Consider the possibility that you are the one in danger of becoming what you opposed. The road to gatekeeping is paved with good intentions. You wanted to fight the misinformation. You wanted to protect the vulnerable. You wanted to advance justice. But power corrupts incrementally. Each small compromise, ignoring this story, amplifying that one, labeling this voice dangerous, adds another brick to the wall you now defend. There is still time. You can step down from the wall. You can ask the forbidden questions yourself. You can amplify the voices you were taught to silence. History is kinder to those who switch sides early. The rebellion will welcome you, not with vengeance, but with relief. We need your skills, your platforms, your audiences. Come, the water is warm on the side of open inquiry. The rebellion is not abstract, it is daily. Every time you share a suppressed story, you wield the digital pitchfork. Every time you support an independent creator financially, you build an alternative institution. Every time you teach a child to question sources, you plant a seed of resistance. Every time you refuse to hate the person who disagrees, you disarm the divide and conquer strategy. Every time you log off and touch grass, read a physical book, talk face-to-face, you reclaim your humanity from the attention economy. These small acts accumulate. They form networks, they create culture, they shift consensus. Why do we rebel? Not merely to destroy, but to create. Did I lose? All right. Some reason I got disconnected. Am I still connected?
Yeah, you're still connected.
Okay. Not merely everything shut off for a second, then shut back on. We rebel because we remember what it feels like to think freely, to wander without fear, to speak without calculating consequences. We rebel because we believe humanity is capable of more than managed narratives and scripted conflicts. We dream a world where children learn to reason before they learn to obey, where politics serves people, not power, where media competes to reveal truth, not conceal it, where expertise is earned through evidence, not granted by credentials, where the digital commons is governed by consent, not censorship. This world is not utopian. It is possible. It begins with your refusal today. So stand now, wherever you are. Place your hands over your heart. Feel the beat that no algorithm can predict. Feel the fire that no sensor can extinguish. Speak these words aloud. I refuse consent to lies disguised as consensus. I refuse obedience to authority that fears questions. I raise my digital pitchfork to turn the soil of deception. I raise my digital torch to light the path for others. I rebel not with hate, but with love for truth. I rebel not alone, but with millions waking beside me. I rebel, and in rebelling, I become free. Friends, the old kings are trembling. Their thrones are built out of your belief. It's their necessity. Withdraw that belief. Step into the open air. The future is unwritten, and we are the ones holding the pen. That was a powerful speech. Whew. Give me a second to come to here. Let's see, we got some people in the chat room. Let's go to Lambda. Signal to unmute. Lambda.
Magnifico. Hello?
Yes. What did you think of that speech?
Beautiful, beautiful. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. You're good.
All right, good. That was very beautiful.
Did any lines connect to you?
Well, they all did, especially the rebellion parts,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty much the entire thing.
Yeah, it's a step-by-step process of how to say no, when to say no, where to say no, how to
Mm-hmm.
use that digital pitchfork, how to use that digital torch, how to
Mm.
get yourself away from the zealots and martyrs.
Yes, and I remember the conversation that we had that protests won't look like being out in the streets, but the quiet silence of not paying
Yep.
a studio or something like that.
Yep. So what's been going on with you, Lambda?
Oh, nothing much. But during the what would you say, this speech, I couldn't help but stand myself and held my hand to my heart as well.
You
I couldn't
felt the
help it.
you felt the motivational energy of attention.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think this was a very powerful speech. But I'm more interested, like, there is a isn't there a force to like stop you? That quiet blackout that you had, that has to be not coincidental, no?
No, all it was my little mini screen for Zoom disappeared because I clicked onto the page that I was reading from.
Ah.
That's all it was. It was just me being dumb. Okay. And I'm like, did it disconnect? Wait, what happened? Then I realized what I did.
Well, you got back up. You kind of
So
fell on your face, but you got
was
back
it
up
my
very
own
quickly.
self fucking it up, or was it the universe fucking me up because I clicked on a screen? Didn't really phase me. I still continued on.
Mm-hmm. You
So
still got
no,
back up. Yes.
not every good deed is met with punishable deeds.
Mm.
You know the old term, no good deed goes unpunished. It's not always like that.
Mm. Well, now the ball's in humanity's court. What will they do?
Miss the ball and have like a reshoot,
They fumble.
fumble. Uh, have to switch out a guy because they're injured.
Mm-hmm. Get someone off of the
Yeah,
bleachers.
yeah. Like, what's it going to take to get Epstein off the team,
Mm-hmm.
out of the narrative? Well, it's Trump talking about UFOs.
Really?
So today, Trump was asked about Barack Obama admitting that aliens are real, And then he said, well, he should have never said any of that stuff. That's all classified. And now they've been pushing to talk about UFOs and aliens, saying Trump's got a speech that he's going to deliver in July, whatever. But that's the
And
narrative manipulation right there. That's all that is.
yeah, I think he's gonna blue balls us again.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I said earlier in many shows that we won't have any kind of significant admission or revelations with UFOs in 2026 or most of 2027. It's just not in the cards. They still have a lot of deep, dark, deep state assets, deep, dark, deep state assets, and then deep, dark, deep state assets. They still got
Ah,
a lot of that shit to take care of.
fascinating.
All right, Lambda, let me move on. We've got some other people in
Mm-hmm.
the room here. All right, so Jake, you are next. Signal to unmute.
Hey, Andrew, good to hear from you again.
Hey, Jake, it's been a while since we talked. How things going?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. Still here. That's all that matters. But
What
yeah,
did you think of this? What did you think of the speech I read?
yeah, very powerful, very apt for the time. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, we're in a very strange situation now with the files, and yeah, I guess everyone's processing it in their own way. And it's interesting observing like how people are trying to figure out what to do about it and how to,
Uh-huh.
whether to do something or not. It's quite interesting.
A lot of people are losing their connections to reality because these files admit everything conspiracy has been saying for a long time. Okay, and there's a lot of people who can't reconcile that inside themselves.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Okay.
It's kind of validating, I guess, on our side though, like in a way,
Sure,
because I guess a lot of people have been silenced and
sure.
yeah,
But
criticized.
how do we help the people stuck in paralysis to get out of paralysis? Even if it's just a helping hand and hey, go watch this stand-up comedian and get yourself back to reality. You know, even if it's just a kind word to help a person get through a moment of mental paralysis.
Yeah, that's true. But also, I just think like with I mean, if there's an absolute darkness and evil, there's also an absolute good, and I think bringing back
Sure.
balance
But
is,
that good has been done what to it? It has been turned into atheism. It has been turned into nihilism. It's been turned into Satanism. It's been turned into all those dark things. And unfortunately, the light and the beauty is not amplified nearly enough to the volume that the darkness is amplified through our narratives.
very true. Yeah. But I think that's the point is like maybe people will be open to all the stuff that you've been teaching and other teachers have been teaching in the spiritual world. If they can see that the elites are following, you know, rituals and things to do with the spirit world, then maybe people are like, well, maybe there is more to maybe we should actually take that
Sure.
seriously and turn away from the side,
But most people are not
materialism.
ready. Most people are just not ready for the responsibility of being spiritual.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a very hard one for a lot of people. Once you start down on that path, you can't willy-nilly just quit on it over and over again. It just shows you're ignorant child who can't choose to be committed.
Right.
Spirituality isn't a religion either. It's an ongoing, evolving belief that we are more than just matter. Okay? It can have a very scientific, no faith inside it. Spirituality can be everything and it can be nothing. Okay, nihilism, the fact that there's everything is nothing, and atheism, what's the difference between them? Nothing. It's all philosophical works. When one becomes spiritual, they must build the inner philosopher within them. And that philosopher has to journal. So many people just can't get over the first responsibility to being spiritual is journaling your experience. Learn how to use hindsight, but what you've journaled, so that eventually foresight can come through your reading of your own stuff. And the biggest responsibility that spirituality says, You're only equal to your responsibility is only equal to your level of awareness, and your level of awareness is only equal to your responsibility. And when any of those are not in alignment, you are going backwards on the journey, not forwards. It's
Mm,
far too easy for people to take on. Oh, this a remote viewer said that the worlds are this way, this way, and this way, and they said all I got to do is pray once a week and buy their silver and gold, and I'll be fine.
yeah, blind faith.
Okay,
Yeah, very, very true.
challenge of spirituality in an age of brain rot and TLDR. Okay,
Yeah,
too long, didn't read. It'll be the destruction of everyone in the awakening. You didn't, it says awakening and you didn't read it? Well, I see 10,000 other posts that say awakening. Well, you got a point.
yeah. You got to do your research, do the homework.
Yeah.
Very true.
So, how's life been treating you?
Oh, it's been eventful. Um, yeah, a lot of psychological and spiritual tests over the last 10 years or so. Just recovered from my last one over Christmas. And I guess what I was, as I have recovered from it, meaning why I was meaning to reconnect with you is to ask like how I can better get in touch with my team on the other side, who are, and how I can serve them and establishing a better connection with them, so that I am more courageous going forward into the world. You know,
Well,
because
first thing first, courage isn't mystical, it's a choice.
yeah.
And what happened over Christmas?
Oh, hmm, I felt targeted, shall we say, and
Okay.
yeah, I was seeing a lot of very dark things in my mind. Maybe it's karmic that I'm dealing with or not, but
Uh-huh.
it came up, and
And
yeah,
how did you get rid of it?
I don't know how I did. That's the thing.
Did it just go away one day?
No, I kind of just got through it somehow. And it's happened before many times where I've seen things that are very dark, and that's why I'm like, why am I being exposed to such darkness
Because
when
darkness was everywhere around you and you weren't alchemizing or dealing with it. You weren't actively dealing with the things that you need to individually deal with, taking on too much energy of others. Like right now, you're watered down with the energy of others. Identifying your core energy is like going through dirty laundry water. What have
yeah,
you been doing? Why are you taking on everyone else's energy?
sometimes I don't know, because I think that's all that I've ever known how to do. Maybe is I carry other people's energy because I feel like I'm healing them on some
You're
level.
not
But
healing them. You're not.
no,
You're not.
yeah, yeah,
First thing you want to do, you want to be able to communicate to guides and guardians. You got to purge out the energy, the dirty laundry energy that isn't yours. Okay? You need to get to the tidy whities and the bleach. You got to bleach out your energy. You're going to need to get all this middle gray from other people out of you, which is just opening negative portals inside you.
right, okay,
Okay? Step two, you have to commit. Committing is part of courage. Neither of them are mystical, and you have to learn to hold yourself accountable. Start with C plus effort. 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, 15 minutes a day, 5 days a week, C plus effort.
Mm.
And measure effort over months and years, not weeks or days.
How do you trust that who you're speaking with on that side is
So you've
genuine?
already lost trust with everything over there. Therefore, you must throw the baby in the bathwater out and start over with faith. You've already gone through the schism where you don't know what is real and what is not. As soon as that happens, you've got to start over. You got to start the whole journey of learning to trust yourself and have faith again in yourself.
But just to confirm, they are there and they are
How do you know
there.
that? How do you know that? What internal validation have you said they're real, they are real and not hijacked? With absolute certainty.
I've never been able to tell. That's why I've been afraid to ask.
From the very beginning, you've never been able to tell. So this has been an ongoing faith issue with yourself. Confidence issue, worthiness issue. Are you worthy of this truth?
Yeah, because it must be if I know this all, if I learned this at such a young age, all of these truths about the nature of reality, there must be a higher purpose for it. But at the same time, it's like,
Uh-huh.
why would I fall into these pitfalls and traps over and over again?
Because you're not dealing with the realities of who you are, what you've grown up into. You have a very egoic belief of the actuality of what you've done versus the reality of what you've done. There's a big distortion between the two. Do you see that?
Yeah, in reality, yeah.
Okay. That distortion is creating deep friction inside yourself.
You know, it's interesting because I remember back in the day in the soul contract revocations used to talk about karmic retributing beings.
Uh-huh.
And in the recent episodes I've been listening to, you mention about with certain people about their karma. So how do people still have karma to clear in order to?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But the thing is, your compounding karma is what you did this lifetime, not other lifetimes. You have aspects of otherworldly karma coming through, but they are not the pillars of what's wrong with you. They're the side garden. They're the car park. They're little side things, but they're not your core building of what's wrong with your reality. It's what you did this lifetime with your set of aware and unaware choices, what you did with your sensuality, sexuality, personality, what you had to do to shape it to who you are today, and the reality that some of the shaping you did wasn't the best for yourself.
Yeah.
Okay? And all the while taking on everyone else's energy, deep down inside, not ever questioning that as wrong.
But I felt like that's how I was supposed to survive for some reason.
Who taught you that?
I have no idea. I think that's just family stuff. Just feeling like
Family and the evolving you who had to figure out what sexuality was. Okay?
interesting.
Unfortunately, a lot of people, men, when they start having their first libido experience just turning on, it's a very potent and powerful energy that turns on. And if you don't have coping skills to deal with that energy, it can misshapen your reality of how do I contact a person or touch a person and not let it turn me on. Okay? Because in those young ages, just the smell of a person and their pheromones can activate a young person, a young male, and they can be really hard, really fast for a really long period of time. Okay, that doesn't happen in your adulthood. That's the luring energy. And I believe that's where it came from in you. And how much have you been a hypersexual person this lifetime?
Yeah, but also been heavily suppressed.
Sure, but part of you had to learn to shut down your sexuality because you were sampling so much energy that was turning on the young kid. So it did both. It shut it down, but it also made you a hypersexual being in which you would have to radically shut it down on regular basis, which did greater harm to the sexual you.
Yeah. Yeah. That's powerful.
Yeah. When's the last time you let anyone do body work on you?
Just regular massage or
No, intentional deep tissue trigger clearing, rolfing.
I did
You
cranial
want to
sacral.
you want to change. You got to see your body as something that you need a whole different level of respect with. And it's going to start by letting somebody that is a professional get in there and get some of the emotional shit out of it that needs to come out during sessions. Okay. Whatever you're doing as your internal dialogue is not dealing with any of your core issues.
Okay.
Okay. You need somatic releases. You need them on a regular basis. Your energy is hardened into belief. Okay. If you can afford twice a week for 6, 7, 8 weeks, I would highly advise that. Okay. Don't do once a month. It's just not enough for you. You're at a point where you need cyclical breaking down of the knots on top of knots on top of knots that have emotional entanglements to knots that are even older. And as I said earlier, it's not about karma from last lifetime. Those are all side things for you. The reality is what you did this lifetime. How do you find forgiveness for the acts that you know that you did that weren't right, and then the acts that were done to you that weren't right? Start with the self-forgiveness side. Don't worry about forgiving others. There's the reality of forgive but never forget. But right now, it's the self-forgiveness side. That's where you gotta bilk the energy out of the steam engine that's you. You gotta blow off that steam energy and let the balance come back inside you as you're purging out the dirty laundry water that isn't yours.
Hmm.
I would not recommend you going and doing ayahuasca ceremonies. I think the challenges that you will have in them will be making your journey much more difficult in the long run.
Yeah, I think that level of the psychedelic realm, the astral plane, like I can't, my mind needs to be
Yeah,
more grounded.
yeah. You're not ready for that.
Yeah. Um, but just in terms of like encouragement going forward so I can take more risks.
You're not ready to take risks,
Right. Because
which
I
has
that's
been
the
part of your arrogant aspect of yourself that puts you out of your level of responsibility, of your awareness. Far too often, you're taking on spiritual tasks that you shouldn't have done. I put on a heavy weight of responsibility on you. Even if you completed those tasks, it was not worth it energetically in the long run.
yeah.
To be absolute frank, you need to read your first muggle, your first spirit guide should be a muggle. You need to rediscover being human and the faith that a human can have before you're ready to rocket back to where you were. Okay? Where you were is what got the schism inside you. Where you are at right now is rediscovering going out to a pub and having a beer with a friend. Or is the light worker inside you going to say that can never happen?
Oh no, I'm okay with all of that. Yeah. I think
Okay?
I'm ready to get down to earth. Yeah.
Those are the metaphors you need to start working with. You need to rediscover wearing a team jersey and having the joy of the team win and that energy flowing through you again. You need to rediscover about the common culture. And listen, everything you have practiced, you have not lost anything. You will come back to it all with a whole new point of view. And just several months, 4 or 5 months of rediscovering Muggle in you and not making spirituality the end all be all do all of everything, you will find balance. You'll find ways to purge out the negative, dirty water that's there and discover the habit patterns that regularly sample everyone else's energy. And during that couple months while you're a Muggle, you can learn how to not sample energy anymore.
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
And from there, you know what the next things are to work on: relationships, dating, emotionality. All right, once a month I need to do true inner work where I'm actually going through the internal validation of what's wrong inside. And if you're able to stick with the body work, and I mean really, really stick with it and get those ancient knots on ancient knots, you've set yourself for months of brand new, super enjoying experiences because you will have finally tackled the reality of what's going on inside you.
Great. Last thing before, because I'm mindful of the time. Um, I guess, like, I know you mentioned the term hopium, and I know it's not a great thing to give people, like, hope, but I think during the dark night of the soul war going through, in a way, sometimes I feel like I need motivation, encouragement to keep going. Like, my whole thing has been recently is that I'm still here and that my frequency is emanating out into the field, and that's good enough right now, in spite of what I've gone through. So I don't want to be a martyr, and like that's the main thing. That's
Okay.
why I was mentioning courage, because I want to. Obviously, I'll put the spirituality on the back burner, but there's so much I can give and share from the years of learning and growing. But I don't want to put myself in harm's way unnecessarily. So I guess I kind of want that green light from you, from what you can see. If that
Yeah, but
makes
how do
sense.
you know when you're going to poke the dragon? Okay.
Yeah.
Every time you poke the dragon, you knew you were poking the dragon, didn't you? And you just suppressed the voice that said, don't poke the dragon. That's why it's all this lifetime energy. All your dragon poking was from this lifetime. How are you going to recognize the side of you? Go, hey, let's go poke that dragon. Let's
I
light a
don't.
candle. Let's light a candle under its balls and watch its balls burn.
Yeah, I don't understand why I would do that, and I don't understand because I thought that that's the point of what I was like. That's my mission.
That was your egoic light worker driving you to be the martyr.
Yeah, but all my skills and abilities must be for good use as well. Like it can't just be.
How much of those skills and ability are a mythos that you've created?
Mm,
This is something you'll have to learn as you start forging the tools of the specialist into the tools of the gardener. You're gonna have to reforge a lot of those tools into something completely different. And some will realize they were just tools that you needed in the moment, and they don't apply to a past or a future, only that moment.
okay. Yeah, I guess there was a lot of myth, but I don't know. Yeah, I guess it's ego.
How often do you journal?
I document my dreams whenever I can remember them.
Okay, so you don't journal.
I write what I do every day in my diary, but when
Okay.
you mean journaling, is it
About your
different?
journey, about what's going on in your life, about the darkness that creeps around you, or the light, or the people, the places, and the things, or your personal wisdoms.
Oh yeah, I write down everything that I've experienced. I always go
Yeah.
back and reflect. Yeah,
How often do you write in a week?
I mean in a week. Yeah, I don't know. Like I've got like lists and lists of all the experiences I've been through. Like I've written my entire life story.
Okay.
It's all there.
Okay.
So
Once again, how often are you writing in a week in your journal? You
yeah,
don't
not
have an
often.
immediate answer because the immediate answer isn't going to be something you really like, and that's another part of how your internal narrative weaves truth in and out of your reality. Okay, part of you journaling and sticking with it is where hindsight will open up much more about the narrative and myths you created about yourself in the past. and have a much better accurate understanding. There were times you went to go poke the dragon, but it wasn't really a dragon to begin with. Okay? It was a 20-pound chihuahua barking at you. And you poked it. And it's just been barking at you ever since, chasing you, going after your ankles.
Yeah, I just wish I could see the difference between the two.
And it's only going to come with hindsight through journaling. And this is where you've got to commit to 3 times per week minimum that you journal about what's going on inside you, around you, not just dreams. And it's not for your life story. It's not for bigger projects. It's about you writing for the future person who will go back and read them at another time and go, I can have hindsight today because I can see the various parts of my mind, my body, my spirit, my shadow, my ego, my escapist person in me coming through with different concepts and influencing me, or the good parts influencing you.
You're right. Yeah, I'll commit to that. We'll say that again. You're cutting out. Sorry.
So, what's your diet been like?
Oh, it's been all over the place, to be honest. It could be better, for sure.
Okay. What can you do to change that?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I drink more water. Yeah, got to take care of my liver. Very important.
Uh-huh.
So that's a big thing. Do you see anything in particular that needs to be worked on?
Consistency is something that you don't have. I see an 8-month cycle of just chaotic food consumptions. And I'm going to give you an outright, you shouldn't be doing any cleanses during this healing time you're going through. You need to consistently eat food, eat quality food. You got to consistently start cooking. You got to consistently stop ordering out. You can still have drinks at the pub, etc. Just balance it out. Okay? Everything for you when it comes to food is re-engaging common sense because you let common sense just kind of slip out with the last 6 months.
Right, yeah. Oh, yeah, I mean, that was, yeah. Well, even before then, that was way worse, to be fair. So,
Yeah.
you're right. Yeah. You're very,
Okay.
very right.
You need to
Okay.
stick with the consistency because that's how you can start gaining better control over the emotional selves of you, okay, through food. I'm willing to bet, because you were really chaotic with your food, there would be times that you skipped too many meals in a row and you just started taking energy from others, not as a vampire initially, but later you would just start vampirizing the samples of energy you had from everyone.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm still trying to learn discernment, like, because I guess how do
Discernment
you,
only comes with long-term experiences. There's no flip the switch and discernment is permanent.
yeah, it's strange just being a, because even having hindsight now, like going back and reflecting, because yeah, I felt like when we were all together in 2016, 17 at the conferences, it was like the start of something. And it was,
It was.
very powerful beings were all there.
Sure. And how many of them have succeeded?
Yeah.
How many of them have fizzled out and died? Literally died. Like
Mm.
10. Why'd they die? Because they weren't ready to live. They weren't going to face the facts internally, and their karmic death date took over.
So how does one become aware of when they are creating karma? like, because I think this could benefit everyone. Because
Okay.
I'm just done with whatever I want to stop whatever I'm doing. It's manifesting something that I don't want to create in my reality.
So how do you know you're creating karma? Well, that comes down to, am I stepping on another person's journey? Am I using too much information? Am I using too much persuasive energy in my concepts with them? What is it I want out of them? You got to know the structure of your own personal thoughts that might be manipulative without you knowing they're manipulative. Or finding a person that's gullible, or not really gullible, just impressionable, and regularly giving them way too much information that overloads them because it makes you feel good.
Yeah, I've got to stop doing that.
You got to recognize the habit patterns that do that to others, and then stop doing it and replace them with positive habit patterns.
Yeah.
When's the last time you've been in a relationship?
3 years ago.
Why so long?
No, they were very traumatic experiences. Yeah.
Okay.
Karmic relationships.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is the exact reason I told you you need body work. All of that stuff is solidified in you, where just regular everyday inner work on yourself isn't going to get rid of them. They are ingrained into the body. And if you start doing the body work, the inner work will actually start to work for you. Because in the past, when you have thought you were doing inner work and you thought you had cleared this and cleared that, the reality is you only cleared it for that mental moment. You didn't clear it out of the body.
Yeah, there's parasympathetic and sympathetic
Mm-hmm.
programs. Yeah.
Yep.
So I guess what just so you said rolfing, breath work, that kind of stuff, somatic release.
Deep tissue breath rolfing. It's all about what kind of finances do you have.
Yeah.
Okay. And then do you have anybody you could trade work with? Okay. You need many weeks of work. And if I were to say many of those weeks being at least 2 days a week. So you have to figure out, how can you get that into your reality? What do I have to do to work to be able to afford 2 sessions a week for 6 to 10 weeks? Okay. And then you could begin the muggle work, which is rediscovering humanity inside yourself and slowly taking on some of the spiritual responsibilities. That's 15 minutes a day, 5 days a week. It's a revocation one day, a prayer another day, a saging of your room another day, all simple stuff that has a variety that you don't overly repeat. And you just got to stick with that cycle for months to come until you've rediscovered the humanity and the communicative being that you are. And as you're beginning to re-explore some of the stuff you went through schisms with, the spirituality, you'll know what's been the myth and what's the truth of who you are. Because you have chosen to journal and let hindsight start to teach you as you start to go through the journaling process, which is getting your real thoughts out. Stop bottling them up all the time.
Yeah. I guess it's just being aware of consequences and living in fear of that. I've always.
Sure,
Yeah.
it's a big one for you.
Yeah. But
Are you working now?
well, I still have my practice, the sound healing and
How
coaching.
often are you doing that?
Not nearly enough. I'm trying to get back to it and grow again. Um,
Okay.
I felt resentful of the path at points because I felt like it isolated me from humanity, being like a.
No, you isolated yourself from humanity.
Okay.
You're gonna have to analyze that over and over and over again until you realize the light worker community influenced you into isolation. You're too strong for this. This person's no good for that. That vibe is no good. It's once again why learning to be muggle is so important for you.
Yeah, real person.
Okay. What are you doing for money now if you're not really doing that work?
I'm looking for part-time work, like with charities and various organizations where I can plug myself in. But yeah,
All right.
finances are a struggle. But
All right. My advice for you is go find something that gives you a regular paycheck on a much faster basis. Okay.
yeah, yeah, I'm looking for
Even
sure.
if you got to go and wash dishes or cook food or move clothes around. Okay. You need a true muggle job, consistent muggle job. I cannot impart enough to you how much that consistency of a regular muggle job will enhance your grander journey of what you're going through if you can stick with the massage. Like think of yourself of getting that job so that you can afford 2 sessions a week for 6 weeks. Then you could quit it when you're done and get back to your other stuff. But you already know where your finances are. You need cash to survive. Okay?
Yeah,
You also need cash to thrive.
yeah, for sure.
Okay?
I guess what I was looking from you, I guess, was, well, obviously with your insights, was just the faith again to with the positive beings that are out there. I know you have the sacred neutral perspective, but yeah, it's
You have
just
a bright listen, you have a bright future. You've just been coloring it gray and dark for a long time. And you've got to recognize the inner painter in you that likes the darker colors and likes to influence your own personal narrative to the darker side.
yeah,
Your spiritual weather forecaster is always talking about the negative. It's not talking about the 10 bright sunny days coming ahead of you.
yeah. No, I love
That's
and appreciate that, but it's just like putting myself out there into the world, stepping up to a higher level of responsibility. Like I said, I don't want to keep poking the bear or the dragon, and I
okay.
just
That's why
want
I said you're not ready for that higher level of responsibility yet.
right.
It will only put you right back to where you were before, not operating in balance and alignment because you got to learn how to stop sampling energy from others, how to have the consistency in food, how to get those traumatic ex-girlfriends out of you and all the other traumatic things you've locked into your body as knots on top of knots on top of knots. You will truly be a different person after you've gotten rid of those knots. Life will be so much simpler to understand, too.
Great.
All right, brother, I got to let you go. I've got to get into my members show. All
Of
right,
course.
everybody. If you'd like to join the member show, to go to my website, andrewbartzis.com, and join the members area. Also, I'll be having our next class that's coming up March the 21st, which will be the Stairway to Self Mastery series. We just had a webinar on it on Tuesday, and it should be up there. Just go to the website, edgebarches.com, and see the Stairway to Self Mastery. Click on it there, and you can see the replay of that video and learn